your back nice and wide. Feet turned out. But an inhale up with the arms. And exhale down the center, letting the knees track over the toes. So not so far down, we're just barely starting to warm up those knees, warm up the shoulders, warm up the elbows. Moving with our breath, inhaling, lifting the head, lengthening through the esophagus as well as the spine, exhaling down. Couple more, and then we'll take a nice wider step. Last one with this width of a step. So just kind of turn that foot out and then turn the other foot out. So basically you're about another foot's distance apart. Have the toes turned out towards the corner of your mat. So we're going to come down and pull it in. Push it out and pull it in. So we're not dropping down very far still yet. Still warming up those legs, warming up those hips. Checking in, allowing those knees to track over the toes. One movement, one breath. Two more. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Allow your hips to drop down even more, reaching to the floor. Inhale, lift. Taking your time. Exhale. Think of sliding your back down the wall and then hinging forward when you can go down no further and then coming back up. Exhaling down. And inhaling up. Two more like that, and then we're going to change our breath patterning. Last two. Last one. Excellent. Hold here. So we're going to inhale. When we inhale, we're going to release down here. We're going to exhale, come up. Think of lifting the pelvic floor as you exhale up. Inhale, release down. Allowing that pelvic floor to relax down as we inhale. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Think of lifting all the way from our arches up our legs into our hips and into our pelvic floor. Pulling down as we inhale, hinging, and exhale, lift. Inhale. Start that exhale as you hinge over. Continue exhaling as you rise. Inhale, pull down. Start that exhale as you hinge. Continue exhaling as you lift. Inhale. And exhale. Continue to exhale. Inhaling as you're coming down, releasing that pelvic floor down. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale as you hinge. Continue that nice long exhale as you lift. Two more. Inhaling as you pull. Exhale as you start that hinge. Continue exhaling as you lift. Inhaling as you pull. Exhale as you hinge. Continue exhaling up to the top. Excellent. Pull those hands in. Pull those knees, those feet in. So we're going to step out and then step in. Staying on this side. Step out, heel, toe into that warrior two, and then come back in. So one thing I want you to pay attention to, so take a quick second, put your hands on your hips. As you step out, don't let your hips drop. Think of keeping them nice and level as you load and come across, unload, and come back. So you're externally rotating, stepping in and coming over, keeping those hips nice and level. So if you need to take a smaller step to keep those hips level for now, I want you to do that. If you feel comfortable taking a wider step, feel free to do that as well. So exhale, think of zipping everything up, and then inhale, opening up. Exhale, pull. Inhale, externally rotate, load and step into that leg. Exhale, push off, come in. Inhale, load and come out. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, turn and load. Exhale, zip it up. And inhale. 2 more just like that. Exhaling and inhaling. Last one, we'll meet right back here. And coming out. And exhale, pull it up. So if you need to shift to the other side, so you can change over to that left leg. So same thing, start with that little one if you need to. Want those hips to stay nice and level. Again, we're externally rotating, loading, keeping the hips nice and level. Keeping your hands there if you need to develop that awareness coming in. When you're ready, you can add the arms. So we're inhaling as we come out and load it. Exhale, zip everything up, including that pelvic floor, lifting the belly button. Inhale as you step out. Exhale as you pull it in. Check in, keeping the hips nice and level, which may mean you need to engage that hip a little bit more, pulling it back. May also mean you need to drive that knee out over the toes to keep the hips level. Exhaling at the top. Inhale, open. Last 2. And last one. Excellent. Release those hands. Grab a quick drink. Then we'll come back to those hips. All right, so we're gonna bring those feet in, looking down at your feet. You wanna be lifting through your arches so you're not totally turned out, but enough that the center of your kneecap lines up with your second toe. So your arches are lifted. You might even look and see your tendons in the front of your ankles. So having those engaged, we're going to just shift our hips side to side. So you're just bending one knee. So from the side, it just simply looks like this. So we're just moving the head of the femur against the hip. So our hips are tick-tocking left to right as our legs are moving front to back. Shifting side to side. Couple more each side. Last one this side, last one this side. Excellent. Take those feet out, turning that right foot into that warrior 2 position. So again, that knee is stacked over the ankle. You want the knee tracking over the last 3 toes. Hips are nice and level. So we're just gonna shift side to side. Again, we're moving the hip against the head of that femur. So just that left, right, soft bend in that back knee. 2 more. Excellent. Coming center. Want those hips nice and level. So if you need to adjust your stance to shorter, we're actually going to tuck the tailbone forward and back. The arms will be out in that warrior 2 position. So shoulder back and down over that hip and just tuck and tilt. So from the side, it's literally just a front tucking the tailbone under, pulling the belly button in and up, and then relax back to neutral. Do not stick your booty back. So it's just a tuck it under and relax to neutral. Tuck it under, relax to neutral. And just notice what you notice. You may feel those adductors are engaged a little bit more. Check in, make sure you're still lifting through the arches. You can see those tendons on the front of the ankle. Shoulders are stacked over those hips. Tuck, and then back to neutral. Looking over that front hand. Working in a whole bunch of different planes of motion with that body today. Two more. Last one. Come into that neutral hip. Turn that foot in. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, coming down. So we're in a high sumo, if you will. And we're just going to shift left to right. Similar to what we were doing before with our feet right next to each other, but we're in a nice wider abducted stance. As we're moving side to side, we're working on abduction and adduction. Move towards one leg as we press away the other. Still lifting through those arches. So really think of feeling the outside blades of your feet underneath those pinky toes. Four more each side. Moving right back over here into a warrior 2. Last one. Coming into that left leg, we're going to turn that foot out. Hands on the hips, and we're just going to tip it side to side. Check in. Having that knee just past those last 3 toes. Seeing that person's second toe on the inside of the knee. Last 4. 2 more. And last one. Come into that neutral right in the middle. Gently pull the belly button in and up, arms out. We're going to do that little tuck and tilt back. And we're not dumping into our back. We're just lifting into the belly button to engage that pelvic floor. Shoulder blades back and down. Gently pull that shoulder blade back over that hip. Looking over that front hand as you continue to exhale and tuck. Inhale, relax. And last one. Excellent. Come up. We're going to turn that foot in. Walk that foot out a little bit if that works for your body. We're going into a little bit wider stance. Coming down with our sumo, we're going to move left to right. We are going to use the hands as well. So coming over to your right shoulder and then over to your left shoulder. Inhale, center, exhale over. Inhale, center, exhale over. With each exhale, imagine allowing yourself to sink a little deeper into the expression of that pose. Doing great. 4 more each side. Last 2. And last ones. Excellent. Releasing the hands to the floor or knuckles to the floor. Turning those feet so they're parallel to one another. We're going to turn into our windmill. Opening up to one side, over to your left side. When you're ready, soft micro bend in the knees. We are going to hold here, internally supported, coming out of that bottom hand. Soft micro bend in the knees. And exhale, release down, gently lowering the hips. Holding here, you can have your hands on the floor or at your heart center, loading into those legs, allowing the inner thighs to stretch open. On your exhale, place your hands on the floor, lifting through the hips. We're just going to shift side to side again. Taking your time, finding what works for your joints. If you need to stay up higher, if that's too much on your wrist, you're welcome to come up here. You're even welcome to come up here, or even shortening the distance between your feet as you move back and forth between that side to side. Find where your body wants and needs that stretch. 4 more. Last 2. And then last one. Coming center. Feet are parallel to one another. Shoulders back and down. Soft bend in the knees. Placing that left hand in the center of the floor. Opening up towards your right. Bending those knees. When you're ready, come out of that hand, internally supported here. And on your exhale, release the hand to the floor. Go ahead and shift over to your right, bringing your left knee to the floor. You're going to come out into that gate position and slowly coming up. Shoulders back and down. Go ahead and come up and over. So you can choose to stay up high, internally supported, or load into that hand. Find what works for you today, or even into the fist. Opening up, we're going to gently allow that arm to come up and over into a side angle. Opening that armpit towards the ceiling. Inhale, cartwheeling all the way up, using those abdominal muscles. We are going to come over into that gate. Hand is just above the knee. Make sure you're not putting a lot of pressure. Opening up that side body. Once again, opening that armpit towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to move into a modified triangle, reaching that top hand up towards the ceiling. You can choose whether to look up or down or straight ahead, bringing that other hand towards the floor. Once again, internally supported, using that hand against the thigh, and externally rotating up through that other shoulder. Soft micro bend in that knee. Paying attention to those hips, allowing that adductor stretch to happen by gently lifting through the arch, pushing down towards the outside blade of the foot. You may even feel a stretch on the outside, that tibialis anterior portion. A couple more breaths. Gently lift towards the ceiling, coming all the way up. We're gonna open those shoulders into warrior two. Slowly walk that foot in till that ankle is right underneath the knee. We are going to walk it forward, leaning over into a kneeling warrior two. Holding here. Check in, you want that shoulder right over that hip. So if you were to lean against a wall, you'd feel like that whole side body is against a wall. Palms are up, gently pressing that knee back over towards your ankle, towards your toes. And you want that ankle right underneath that knee. From here, let's move into reverse warrior. I'm going to take the hand down the side body, reach it up and over. So if this feels like it's too much pressure on your back or your spine, you're welcome to put your hand at your hip to support yourself as you come up and over. Find what works for your body. Cartwheeling all the way up. Bringing that leg in, and then bending the knee to bring it down. Hands behind the back into our camel pose, gently lifting up. You're really opening up the abdominals. And as you inhale, gently come up, stacking the shoulders over the hips, bringing that other leg out. We're going to come forward, bring that leg up, and then out to the side. Toes are facing me, coming up. We're going to go into that gate. Gently resting the hand here on the leg, opening up. Pulling that shoulder blade back and down. As you inhale, come all the way up. You have that choice to be on your hand, on your fist, over into that side angle. Opening that armpit towards the ceiling, allowing more of a stretch to happen along the outside of the body. Gently lifting through that arch, feeling that outside blade of the foot towards the floor. As you inhale, come all the way up, moving into that triangle, taking the hand down the inside of that thigh, opening up. Once again, using that hand, opening up and towards the ceiling. As you inhale, come away from the floor, open up into that warrior two. Walk that foot in, bending that knee. You want it right over that ankle. Gently pressing into that leg, adjusting if you need to. And coming up into that warrior two, shoulders back and down. Tracking that knee over those toes. And think of leaning up against a wall here. Everything's pulling away from the midline. And And then coming into that reverse warrior. Once again, you have that option of staying here or having that hand on the hip, opening up that side body, lengthening through the spine as you open that side body. And inhaling up, bringing that foot in. One more time, coming into our camel, bringing the hands towards the back of the hip. This time, if you would like, you can challenge yourself a little bit more, reaching down into the glutes, the back of the legs, or even into the feet, making sure you're opening up towards the sky with your chest, heart center, fingertips towards the back. Imagine you're like squeezing a ball between those hands. And as you inhale, coming up, we're going to relax all the way down onto all fours, taking your hips nice and wide, your knees to the outside of your mat. You're just going to shift left to right. So from the front, got my feet nice and wide, and I'm just shifting left to right. Doing a little bit of a stretch through those hips. Maybe up into the back, even between the shoulder blades. Depending on what surface you're on, you may want to add a little bit of a padding underneath your knee. We are going to get ready to move into frog. Coming center. So to do that, you can take in the edges of your mat. The inside of your knee will be on the edge of your mat. So you're going to open up your feet so the inside of your foot is on the floor. Yeah. Feel that nice little froggy stretch. So lowering down onto the forearms, you're just going to gently exhale as you press back and inhale as you come forward. So you're pushing back away from your arms and then inhaling forward. Adding a little stretch. So trying to go just a little bit deeper, moving into possibly discomfort, but never into pain. On your next exhale, I want you to hang back there, just waiting for that stretch to happen. Holding here. And if it feels like you're relaxed enough and you want to push back a little bit deeper into that expression of the pose, feel free to do that. Relaxing your feet. The inside blades are still on the floor, but relaxing your feet so you're not bringing any tension into your feet. On your next inhale, gently pull yourself forward all the way onto your tummy, engaging your feet, pulling your knees in so you're on your stomach. So we are going to reach one hand forward, the other hand back towards that foot. So you're welcome to hold onto the heel, onto the toe, find what works, going into our half bow. Just allowing that quad to stretch. Trying to add a little element to it by taking it from the inside of the foot and gently rotating that foot out. So we're actually internally rotating that femur. If that's too much on your shoulder, obviously you don't want to do that, but it is a little bit of a wrenching action with that arm to internally rotate that hip. Excellent. Go ahead and release that foot. Come up onto your forearms. Bring that leg out. So just like we were doing our frog on that side, we're going to walk that foot up so that leg is nice and extended. So from here, coming down onto your tummy, find what feels comfortable. You're attempting to rotate and press your pubic bone towards even. Obviously, it's up a little bit because your leg is extended. Pressing through your heel as you allow your body to sink into that mat, stretching through that adductor. A few more breaths here, where we add on to that stretch. Relaxing that foot as you feel your body sinking into the stretch. If you want to walk your foot up towards your elbow a little bit more, feel free to do that, and then just relax that foot, working that pubic bone towards the floor. We're going to add on just one little element by gently taking the toes to the floor, lifting the heel. So think of rotating that foot up, that heel towards the ceiling. Think of almost wringing out that leg at the hip. And exhale, release down, slowly, taking your time, bending that knee, coming back. Using that hand, we're going to push ourselves up and over, opening the front of that hip. Working towards letting that foot land flat, so that knee is up towards the ceiling and that hip is nice and open. The side body is stacked. With each exhale, working towards engaging that glute just a little bit more to open up that front of that hip. Working towards that external rotation in that hip. On your next exhale, slowly taking your time coming forward. We're not quite done with that leg. So we've worked the quad, we've worked the adductors, internal and external rotators, gently coming up through that push-up position, engaging the toes. We're gonna stretch into that glute. Come up into that plank and gently bring that leg forward into your pigeon. So if pigeon doesn't work for you, you can come into a mermaid so that leg's not back. So I'm gonna stay in mermaid because this thing's not happy today. You're welcome to be in your pigeon. Working our way towards that forward, folding over that leg with each exhale. Allow your body to sink into that. Couple more breaths here. Excellent. When you're ready, we're coming away from the floor with the hands. We are going to push up onto the hands. So wherever you are, bring yourself back into that plank position. Dropping down to the knees, releasing all the way down to the floor. Coming into that quad stretch on the other side. So bringing that foot back into that heel, or into your bow, half bow pose. Releasing yourself down. Couple more breaths here. You're going to gently take that foot out. So instead of being right here to stretch that quad, you're going to take it out. Internally rotating that hip as you take that foot off to the side. Soft bend in that elbow. Again, listening to that shoulder. And as you exhale, release that hand from the foot. Bend that knee, bring it up. Walk that foot out. So we're Going past that little frog position, walk the foot forward, allowing yourself to sink down. Waiting for that stretch, working our pubic bone towards the floor, stretching into the adductors. As it releases, if you feel like you want to add more of a stretch, you can walk it up towards your elbow, continuing to work towards that pubic bone towards the floor. Moving towards wringing out that leg. You're going to gently rotate, lifting that heel up. You're wringing out that leg. On your next exhale, release that heel back down. Gently bending that knee. Bringing that leg back, hand by the body. Extend the other arm out. Bring that leg up and all the way over. Opening the front of that hip. Working that foot, that heel towards the floor. Externally rotating, working towards opening the front of that hip. Stacking your body on the side. And as you exhale, coming all the way back onto your tummy, knees to the floor, hands by the chest, pull your belly up first, pressing up into that kneeling plank. Come up onto those toes. When you're ready, bring that left leg forward, up and underneath. Again, you have that option to come down into your pigeon, or you can come into your mermaid. Find which works for your hips today and or knees. And coming down over that leg, or not. Of course, you can stay up higher. Find what your hip wants to do today. On your next exhale, slowly bring yourself up to your hands. So from whatever position you're in, whether you're in mermaid or pigeon, come into that kneeling plank position. Holding here. So your hips are nice and forward. Your wrists are just a little bit ahead of your shoulders in this position. Belly button is in and up. Tops of your feet are nice and relaxed on the floor. Shoulder blades are back and down. Move into crocodile. So from here in this position, I just want you to bend your elbows and hinge at the hips. Holding here. Think of bringing your elbows right by the seams of your shirt. Releasing your face towards the floor, pushing through the hands, releasing the legs down, rolling side to side with your bottom. Think of massaging your knees, if you will. Excellent. We're going to pull the belly button up first, press up through the knees, engage the toes. If you need to walk the hands back just a little bit, we are going to come into our down dog. Pressing back, Working towards stretching the hamstrings. Pull your shoulder blades back and down. Soft bend in the elbows. Soft bend in the knees as you work towards lowering those heels, stretching into those hamstrings. Working towards stretching all those attachments that attach to those hips. Slowly bend one knee as you lengthen through the other leg, pressing through that heel. Allowing those hips to kind of go off just a little bit. Just like we were doing in the beginning when we were letting our hips shift left to right as our knees moved forward to back. All right, changing sides, nice and slow, shifting our weight. And then coming back to center, rolling up onto the balls of our feet, gently pressing back, lifting our high knees, lowering those heels nice and slow. You're welcome to stay here in your down dog, or you can come into dolphin on the forearms. Listening to where your body wants to be today. On your next exhale, slowly bending your knees, releasing them to the floor. Releasing those feet, pressing all the way back into your extended child's pose. On your next exhale, gently pull yourself forward, coming into a seated position. We're going to move through our astronaut. So we're going to pull ourselves up. We're going to hinge back to the length of our arms. So we're at the length of our arms, pull our belly button in and up, and then gently lift the arms off the legs, holding here. Remembering to breathe. Grabbing the back of the thighs, inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge back. Pull the belly button in, gently round up. You're gonna lift one leg, extend it up, reach for that ankle, and hold it open here. If you'd like to add a little bit of intensity here, you're welcome to come out of that bottom foot. You're also welcome to take it all the way out into a revolving boat. And release that foot down, coming back to the center, grab the back of the knees, inhale up, exhale back, rounding out. You're welcome to stay here, or if you'd like to challenge yourself, coming up, feet parallel to the floor. And you also have that option of reaching them out into your boat. Releasing the feet to the floor, grabbing the back of the thighs, inhale, lift. And exhale, hinge. Gently pulling in and up. Coming out, rotate, lift that other leg, holding here. And you have that option, staying here with that foot down, or lifting it up to the bottom of that other foot. Releasing that foot to the floor, coming back to the center, releasing that other foot, grabbing the back of the thighs, inhale, lift. Last one here in the center. This time I want to encourage you to tuck under, gently lifting the legs. So you're welcome to stay here, holding here, or once again in that full expression of the boat. Find what works for you today. And if you need to alternate, coming in and out of that. A few more breaths. When you're ready, grab the back of the knees. Inhale, lift all the way up. And as you exhale, gently tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, releasing yourself all the way to the floor into Shavasana. Rolling the body side to side, just like we did our high knees in the beginning. Rolling left to right. Releasing any other tension you may have in the hips, the knees, the shoulders. And then let your body relax until it stills. Anchor into your heels. And walk the shoulder blades under. Flap your feet till your head starts to bob. And slowly stop doing that and allow your body to just kind of buzz out. If you need to adjust your shoulder blades under your body or make any other adjustments, please do so before settling into your Savasana. Taking nice deep cleansing breaths. Think of breathing in for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 8. Do one more breath cycle like that, breathing in for a count of 4. And then exhaling at 8. On your next inhale, gently take your hands behind your head, allowing the weight of your head in your hands. Bring your elbows towards your eyes, towards your eyebrows, and then just gently using your hands, pulling and stretching on the back of that neck. Allow that stretch to come all the way down your back, through your hips, through the back of your legs, and even up into the bottoms of your feet. On your next inhale, allow yourself all the way back and down, walking those shoulder blades one more time underneath you. On your next exhale, gently walk your feet up one at a time. And then bring your knees up towards your chest. Slowly rolling left to right, massaging that low back. Letting those legs fall to the left side of the body, turning your head and neck away from those knees. If you're taking care of a shoulder, rest your hands on your ribs. If you'd like to increase that stretch, you can extend that arm out, turning your head even further towards that hand. With your eyes closed, you can take your eyes towards your peripheral vision, towards the floor, to allow just a little bit more stretch in that neck. On your next exhale, gently bring your face towards the ceiling, hand onto the rib, and inhale those knees back to the center, all the way over to the right side as you exhale, turning the head and neck again away from those knees. Finding where that shoulder wants to be, whether your hand is on your rib or out to the side. Gently rotating your head towards that hand and your eyes, with your eyes closed, towards the mat. On your next exhale, bring your eyes towards the ceiling, keeping them shut. Gently bring that hand to the ribs and then find a comfortable position on the right side of the body. On your next exhale, using that left hand, gently push yourself to a comfortable seated position, crossing those knees. Slowly going around in whatever direction that front foot is. Change directions, change your feet. And go in the opposite direction. And coming center, roll those shoulders up and around. Gently press to the front, round out through the spine. Sitting up tall on those sits bones, roll back and around. Press out to the side, pulling the shoulder blades towards your spine and towards the floor. Release down. One more time, up and around, pulling them all the way down to the floor. Lengthening through the shoulders, back of the arms, turning the hands up. Big inhale, breathing in one for the mind. Exhaling to the side. Breathing in one for the body. Exhaling to the other side. And breathing in one for the spirit. Bring the hands heart center. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today, everyone.